It's the most wonderful time of the year. Opening of archery season in Wyoming, my favorite place on earth. I can't get enough of this place because it recharges my soul like nothing else.
Whether it's in the Midwest, the East, the Southeast, or even deep down in Texas, all of those whitetail tactics that you've learned through the course of your hunting career, they can come in handy even out here in the big openness of the Western United States. So what whitetail strategies work out west? All of them. They'll all work out here. On mule deer, on whitetails, even on elk if you have that on your wish list. But one of the things that I really think that whitetail hunters can use is an ambush approach. Now you might not be able to bring your tree stand along, or you might not want to stake a ground blind out here. The winds do whip a little bit, but you can form a pattern, spot a pattern, and then look all around. Use your hunting apps, those hunting apps you have. You can look at different places that you might be able to set up an ambush. It might not be traditional, like a funnel of willow trees along a creek bottom where you could set up a tree stand on a nearby oak or cottonwood tree, but it might be a little knob that's overlooking a draw that these deer are using to funnel back and forth from alfalfa up to some rough river breaks. Those are the type of ambushes that I like to look for. Any terrain, any environment can hide deer easily. Out in the east, you have different little nooks and coulees and draws as you're looking into these areas. In the Great Plains, deer can hide in CRP grass, tall grass, or maybe a little willow thicket right out in the middle of a field. And out west, well, there's all these little gullies and draws they can drop into. Sit down and spend some time picking apart each spot, and then look at the best area and look at it again, and look at it again. Now I know some of you kind of made up with your ground blind or tree stand, but there are times when you may want to abandon them and go to a spot and stalk hunt. What's the main time? Well, during the rut. If you're seeing some activity from your tree stand and it's a roundabout merry-go-round 150 yards away and there's no way to shoot it with your shotgun, rifle, muzzleloader, or bow, get down out of that stand and stalk. Those deer are so preoccupied with breeding and lovemaking. The only one with a clear mind there is a doe. So keep your eyes on her. Try not to be spotted by any of them, but especially by her, and do your spot and stalk hunt. That's one time when you should just abandon tradition and get out of the tree or ground blind.
It's the most wonderful time of the year, but it's not December. It's September 1st, opening of archery season in Wyoming, my favorite place on earth. I can't get enough of this place. I can't talk about it enough because it recharges my soul like nothing else. Immediately get into camp on the first day. I meet up with my friend. He's a legend, an icon. I idolize him, he's a hero. Bob Robb, one of the most iconic outdoor writers, editors in the hunting industry I don't want to insult Bob, for a lot longer than I've even just can imagine. But Bob is no nonsense when it comes to bow hunting, whether it's crossbow hunting or compound hunting. Bob has been such a tremendous mentor for me. And we had so many laughs and good times over the years. This year we get to bow hunt together again, and we know it's going to be good. He wants to make sure he's dialed in. So that was the first point of order for us. I get out my Matthews, I get out my 10-point, I get out my Wicked Ridge. I might not be using them all on this hunt, but I want to make sure that everything is dialed in. Bob's the same way. We're shooting the same weights. I'm shooting some sever practice points on my arrows, both my crossbow bolts and my Easton arrows. So what we did is we put in some various targets at various ranges. And for me, I'm gonna limit myself normally to about 40 yards, regardless if it's my Matthews or a 10-point. We put one target there at 50 just to see, how we'd be doing. I was money. I mean, I'm not bragging at all, but I had that thing dialed in and ready to go. And Bob did too. And man, were we excited to get out there on day one. Okay, so we're hunting at Trophy Ridge Outfitters again, Ralph and Lenore Dampman. Just a top-notch, 5-star, A-class hunting operation. Our guide, Aaron Myers, he met up with us right away. And he told us, hey, listen, it's 95 degrees today. It's not only hot, but even though they had good rains here in Wyoming this year, everything looks pretty green. They hadn't had a lot of rain for the past couple weeks. So he said, these deer are hitting water. And he said, you're gonna have a chance to either see bucks in velvet or hardhorn bucks already. Some of these bucks are peeling. For me, you know me, if you have watched deer and deer hunting TV at all, I love velvet bucks. I was hoping to see one of those, but I'm not gonna be picky. If I see a good peeled rack buck, I'm gonna take him too. But we knew immediately that it was gonna be water. We're gonna be hunting over ponds or stock tanks near a big center pivot alfalfa field. Now that's two prime things for a whitetail early season. Alfalfa early, you pretty much can't beat it, especially when it's irrigated. And number two, water. So if you have a water source, either out here they have natural ponds or they have cow tanks, and deer will come to both of them interchangeably. It's not a slam dunk, and don't ever think that with water. Water is tricky. If you're hunting deer over water, it's even more difficult than hunting them over bait, because when they're coming in, they're taking a sip and they're getting out of there. And when they come in, they're coming in fast, and sometimes you don't even have a chance to act when the deer's already on you. Opening day in Wyoming. It's really hot. It's gonna be 95 degrees today. Deer coming to water. We've got bedding in one of the only water spots in this area. You can see there's tracks everywhere. I have a really good feeling about tonight.
Deer and Deer Hunting TV is brought to you by
We thought it was going to be perfect. Well, perfect except for the bugs. It wasn't mosquitoes this time. It was blowflies, black flies. It was terrible. They were basically pestering us the entire afternoon, and we sat there for 5.5 hours. So, you think, oh, that's not that long. Then 95 degrees and you're baking in the sun, you're sweating. Thank goodness I sprayed myself down with scent killer before I got in there. It helps, but at the same time, you have to play the wind. The wind was in our face, and that was a key component to when that first deer showed up. Getting to be about 6:30-ish. We've got another good hour and 20 minutes of legal shooting time left. I look over my shoulder. The sun is beautiful. It's starting to set, and it's illuminating basically a grassy, weedy field behind us up on a hill. I look, boom, there's a beautiful buck, still has his red coat, full velvet, standing there and just picking along, eating some weeds, forbs, and he's heading our way. He's heading for the water source. I'm shaking hard. Beautiful velvet buck. That's why I love it out here in Wyoming. Oh, I can never get enough of this. September 1st, opening day, we had that just gorgeous buck. It's been so hot, 95 degrees today, and I'm not gonna whisper because we heard him crash right over the top of the hill here. We have the only water in town right here, and he just came in. I think I hit a little high, but he was quartering perfectly. That Havoc 440, sever right through him. I'm feeling really good right now, buddy. Okay, I know better than to give high fives yet, but not yet. Last year we had that, he came to the pond, perfectly quartering away at 10 yards. I stuck it in him, he jumped high, landed in the pond, ran up there, jumped, and he's dead on the other side of that hill.
You can see him?
No, but I know he's dead. But I'm bringing an arrow just in case. So we wait for Aaron, we get there. He walks us up there. Yes, blood right there at the spot of the shot. Good sign. Right across the water, we get to the other side. Good blood up on top of the hill. And you're going to see what happens next. Okay. I think there's blood right here. See right there? Really? Wait. Yeah. There we go. First day. This comes out. It's hot, man. I mean, it's not so much the heat. It's the flies. The flies are.
That's the key right now.
What's going through me right when I find the deer? Number one, I'm elated. Obviously, I'm always happy anytime I shoot a deer. Number two, I'm happy that deer didn't suffer. He didn't have to go very far. And we found him right away. We didn't have to trail him, especially in heat like that. And that's something you have to keep in mind early season bow hunting. Just because you have a nice buck in front of you, if you do not have that really good shot, sometimes you have to hold back, and that's very difficult. But third, for me, just to share this with friends again, that meant the world for me, and especially on this year when I lost my dad, that was going through my head too, that, Dad, this one's for you. I know you're out there watching me, and I know you're proud, but I wanted you to share in it as well. Well, there it is, another great year done on the first day. I know it's anticlimactic for some, but for me, I can't get enough of it. I'm looking forward to coming back again next year. This place of America, you're gonna be hard pressed to find another spot like Northeast Wyoming. Okay, when you're bow hunting on the edge of a field, early season, scout with a purpose before you go hunting. Kind of have an idea where those deer are coming from. Specifically the trails, how they come out onto these fields. When I'm hunting big ag fields, alfalfa, even hay fields early in the season, I want to know where those deer are coming out specifically, because let's face it, a lot of times we go hunting, you just sit in a blind, almost like you're a spectator, which you should be, but you're a spectator is like, hey, what's gonna happen? You should kind of know what's gonna happen. You should know where the deer are gonna come from, and that's what makes you a better deer hunter. So scout those areas, scout the trails, and find out which trails are the most productive for the deer that you're hunting. If you're hunting a buck, those doe trails might bring a lot of deer to you, but those buck trails might be 50, 75, 100 yards down the way. And a lot of times what those bucks will do, even in the early season, is they come up and they'll stage in that woods. You'll never see them if you're just sitting here waiting for them to step out, because they'll step out in dark. If I'm glassing, lo and behold, there's a deer standing back in the woods. That helps prepare me. Yes, if I'm bow hunting, they might not be in bow range, but it makes the difference between getting out of that blind early and staying when it counts. A lot of times we let our minds play with us. They're like, nothing's gonna come in, and you might get out 10 minutes early. You might get out 5 minutes right after shooting hours. And you say, what's wrong with that? If that buck is standing there and you didn't see him, you probably busted him and didn't even know it. So keep your eyes on those specific spots, and you're gonna be a much better bow hunter, especially early during the archery season. If you're a serious bow hunter, you're probably like me, a little bit of a minimalist. You don't want to take a lot of stuff to the woods with you because it can mess up your hunt. But there's certain things that you need and you want, and you got to be quiet. Code of Silence is the master at being silent, and this new double back backpack is not only quiet, it is built for hunting the rut. What makes this backpack quiet is the fleece wool fabric. Super soft, and I can spray that with scent killer to keep it scent free. And the back of it has a breathable membrane, so if I'm sweating and I'm walking a long ways, that's going to keep me cool and the backpack from absorbing sweat. The clasps are quiet. These are buckles and not snaps, and it's got the compartments where I need them so I can access my gear when I want it. Bottle of water, whatever, my lunch, I can get in there and be quiet and I can hang it up. The other nice thing right here, hanging it up, this snap comes out so I can adjust it if it's a tree limb or something else like that. Real quiet, put it back together. And then this pouch here where I carry my rattling antlers, I can open that up when I'm on my stand and have that hanging up in the tree and just grab stuff. And I'm not sitting there fishing around trying to find it. It's almost like a little shelf I can put everything. Very, very nice. And hey, if you pair this backpack with the Code of Silence clothing, you're gonna have the quietest system that you can get. Check it out today at codeofsilence.com.